Alright, what's up everybody? So today we're going to talk about the Fletcher Munson Curve. This is the second part in ears over meters. So just going to give you kind of a rundown on what the Fletcher Munson Curve is. First, I want to show you, if you're not already familiar, an SPL meter. So that's going to be this guy right here. And basically what this does is measures the sound levels in a given space. So at the top here, obviously the microphone, and this is giving a readout of about 55, 37, 45, 60, right around there. Those are measured in decibels. So that just comes in from room noise, from the computer I have running, everything that's just going on in the room. So the reason this is important is because when you're in the later stages of production and mixing and whatnot, you're really trying to fine tune all the sounds, all the frequencies, all the levels, get everything kind of just right. And when you're putting that much, effort into it, you want to make sure you're getting an accurate, reading. We have acoustic treatment in our rooms. We have panels, bass traps, all this stuff, high-end, monitors. And so we invest all this time and money and everything into getting all these details just right. And so this meter right here is just going to be another one of those tools. This particular one, about $25 on Amazon. So it's nothing crazy. It's nothing super fancy. But I will show you how to use this, why it's important, what it does, etc. So basically when you're in the later stages of mixing and producing and whatnot, and when you're really getting all those, all the productions done, you're really just kind of trying to tune the levels, the frequencies and everything. What you want to do is you want to have your mix playing back through your speakers at about 80 decibels. So what you would do is you would turn this meter on and basically just hold it in your mixing listening position. So kind of for me, it's like right here. So I just kind of hold it up and just kind of watch the levels and see where it's at. It's obviously going to fluctuate because music is dynamic, but it's going to go maybe about 75 to 80 to 83. That's kind of where you want to be listening from. And I'm going to show you why. The first reason, which is also very important, is because 80 decibels is about where we can listen for extended periods of time without damaging our ears. But the second reason is because of the Fletcher Munson Curve, and I'm going to show you what that is here. So the Fletcher Munson Curve is basically, as I mentioned in the first part of the series, sort of the built-in EQ that we have in our own ears. And so I'm going to pull up an EQ that I have loaded. I'm going to bring us back to the beginning of the song, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of automation that happens here, and I'll explain after. So just watch this graph. Okay. So basically what's happening, as you notice, is that the low frequencies are kind of cut out, and the high frequencies, to a lesser degree, are also cut out. So I'm going to play it back from the beginning and do it one more time. So what this represents, the overall volume, let's say you're playing back your mix over your speakers. Sorry, wrong one. The overall volume, let's say you're turning your dial up, okay? That's what this represents. You're turning your dial up and the volume is raising. And what happens is, until we get to about this 80 decibel point, which is nice and flat, our ears actually disproportionately hear, low frequencies less and higher frequencies less. So until we get to this 80 decibel point, the low frequencies are actually sounding quieter than they really are, and the high frequencies are sounding quieter than they actually are. So our ears are kind of tricking us. So if you're listening to your mix at lower volumes, like maybe 65 decibels, 70 decibels, you're not quite getting an accurate depiction of your low frequency and high frequency in the mix. So just to kind of play it again, as you start raising the volume coming through your speakers up, these low frequencies start to rise and the high frequencies rise until around this 80 decibel point, everything is kind of nice and flat. And it's important because that's why we buy studio monitors in the first place. We buy, you know, if we can afford it, high-end monitors, or at the very least a base model, because they have a flat frequency response, and that's what we want in order to get an accurate mix. So in the theory, this is what your studio monitors look like as far as the frequency kind of curve that they have. Obviously, they're not 100% flat, but this is what we're going after. And so if you spent money on studio monitors to get this flat frequency response, but you're not taking the time to make sure what you're actually hearing is also flat, then you've kind of done yourself a disservice. So just going to show it one more time just to really drill it in. The overall volume is being turned up. And as that happens, we're hearing the bass and we're hearing the highs more accurately. So once you're at that 80 decibel point, you're at a good place where you can listen for extended periods of time safely. And you can also get a solid, accurate idea of what's actually happening in your mix. Because, you know, if you're mixing at 60 decibels and the bass just sounds way too quiet, and so, you know, you're boosting that up, and then all of a sudden, you know, you finish your mix, you bring it out to the car, all of a sudden the bass is just way too loud. You might be confused what's going on here, and, you know, it just sidetracks you. You're not making accurate decisions on your mix and whatnot. So so that is the Fletcher Munson Curve. Again, just sort of as a theme of the series, it's kind of the relationship that we have between the meters and the levels and everything that we're reading visually, and how that kind of ties back to what we're hearing with our ears. Because at the end of the day, you know, music is audio, where it's all experienced through ears, not with our eyes. So just learning how to use the tools, the visual tools we have at our disposal, and, you know, using those effectively with our ears. So just kind of that relationship. So hope this video helps. Any questions, as always, just drop a comment, because I'm very responsive on all the videos. And have a good day.